Okay, I think we are live. Hey guys, welcome back to another one of these things, and I've been a little behind schedule on this, so um to say the least, I haven't been able to do much uploading, been very busy with school and all that, so haven't done much. I have, however, still existed, so I have a birthday. So, we are going to be doing a tier list of all the movies that have made $1 billion excluding Moana 2. That movie apparently now has crossed the $1 billion mark, or that's at least what reports have been saying. So so that's really all I can say. I did not get along to that one. I did see basically most of it because I've seen most of the movie because I work at a theater. So I've seen most of Moana 2, but I was like, I didn't feel right putting it on here without seeing the whole thing. So let me just. Okay, so. Okay, so we should be okay. So I think we can just start. I will be giving like a bit of a mini review because for these, but essentially that's it. Let's just address the chat real quick, which as usual, it's sad but won't take long. We got Child of the One True King. Hi, good to see you. Happy birthday! Thank you very much. I just turned 16 today. Okay, so assuming you guys can actually see me doing this, so. I am hoping. If so, if you're in the chat and you can't see anything, please let me know. Okay, but we're going to get started. Okay, so we have S tier, meaning like the best of all time. A tier, which is just like really, really good. We got B tier, decent, fun, really enjoyable. C tier, a decent to mediocre movie. D tier, I don't like it. It's just a pretty uncomfortable to bad time. And then we have F tier, which is just for like the worst and like most awful experiences I can have. Okay. Child One True King looks good from here. Okay, good. There we go. Okay. So first up, we have these should be in order of every single movie that has made it. I did exclude The Lion King because I couldn't find a file to put it on here, as well as apparently when it came out, it made like 700 million or something. So I think re-releases may have given it that. I don't know. In future, I will try to put it on here. I have seen it and just know it would be an S tier probably. That is my favorite animated movie of all time. So anyway, let's get started. We got Jurassic Park, which I don't even really think I need to really address. This movie is obviously S tier. I rewatched it recently because we're supposed to be getting the Jurassic World Rebirth trailer on the Super Bowl. On the day of the Super Bowl, it's going to be dropping like some movies do. Deadpool and Wolverine did it last year. That was the talk of the town. And it just reminded me the sequels so suck. Some of them are okay, but this movie is still a timeless classic. The mix of practical effects and CGI is mind blowing in this. It just looks so effective and so just good, and it is truly a remarkable movie. It has that heart as well as just this. There's some horror sequences in it, but just a great Spielberg classic. Okay, now we have Titanic. Titanic is an interesting one. Like, I adore this movie. Certain sequences in here are in S tier, absolutely. But I do think the first half isn't, well, not first half. I do think the first hour, like when they're doing the regular stuff, it's not as emotionally gripping. It's like the moment where, like, one of the most memed moments in the movie, like the I'm the king of the world and I'm flying. Are those moments amazing? Yes, but they are some of the only moments in the first hour that I really can find captivating. The as soon as you get into the as soon as you see that the ship is going to hit the iceberg, you have a knowledge that the characters don't. So you have this sick and just awful feeling knowing what is about to happen, knowing that this is going to go bad, and it's just a gut-wrenching movie. It is truly an experience. It is absolutely amazing, but I do not think I can put it in S tier, but I will put it in A tier. Let's do this. Okay. Okay, now we have Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. And I know a lot of people hate this movie. And I honestly don't really get the hate for it. I did grow up with it, I will mention that. I am a big nostalgia person for it. I love this movie. It was one of my favorites growing up. Just I do think that it does over rely on CGI at times and green screen, and holy lord, they do not hold up well. Some sequences look laughably terrible, especially when I saw this in theaters on its re-release. It looked truly bafflingly bad. But like Duel of the Fates, one of the best duels, hands down, in Star Wars. The only one I could put into competition would be Anakin versus Obi-Wan on Mustafar, also in the prequels. And Liam Neeson, amazing. Darth Maul, forgettable villain, but he does have his moments. So I would say B tier is where I would put it. It's a good and enjoyable movie. So now I'm gonna have to probably stretch it just so I can get a good view of the movies. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This movie was a big deal when it came out. Just people love the Harry Potter books, and the movies have this cult following. So I grew up with these movies. I have a lot of nostalgia for them. They are true experiences in a lot of ways, but similar to the Phantom Menace, in a lot of ways, Sorcerer's Stone does not hold up it well. The CGI looks awful. Like sequences like the Quidditch match, one looks awful, especially like some of the effects, like where they're trying to use the crowd. The troll looks abysmal. Fluffy does not look very good as well, so it has some problems, but it's just this magical time, and it started one of the most consistently great movie franchises of all time. So I would also put it in B tier, but I do have more nostalgia for Phantom Menace, so I would level Phantom Menace more. So now we have the big dog, The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King. If Fellowship and Two Towers were on here, they would also be an S tier, but man, this movie is in a category of its own. Return of the King is easily S tier. This one is, of all the movies in here, this is my favorite $1 Billion Club movie. It is remarkable. It is a true event, if I can ever say so. Just this conclusion to one of the most thematically rich and powerful trilogies of all time. It's emotional. It has actual scenes that do make me cry. I remember seeing this with a friend of mine in the theater. It was amazing. Man, I can see how people are like, there's so many endings in the movie. I've never had that problem. I always just love it. So this movie is absolutely S tier. Okay. Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest. Now, I'm trying to remember. I haven't seen this movie in about a year or two. So it's been a minute. And so I do remember most of it though. So I would say I would put this in B tier. It borders on A tier, but I think I would probably I could lower it. I mean I could upgrade it to A tier maybe later. But at the moment I'm just not feeling it. But it's a really good sequel in this franchise, where this was right before the series had fallen off, like at World's End. After we will get to one of the later installments that I am not a fan of later, but the CGI looks amazing. Like I'm trying to remember, Davy Jones, his effects look outstanding. I do not like the fact that we don't really see the Kraken. I do think it is too long, but yeah, this is one of the funnier versions of Jack, and so it's a really, really good time and just a fun adventure. That's really all I can say about the movie. It's really good. The Dark Knight. I do contend that people saying it's the best comic book movie, I would not say so. But this movie freaking rules. I remember rewatching it not long ago. I did this and Begins. They both are excellent, but The Dark Knight, oh man. I would probably, I think I do it off of rewatchability, so I would probably have to say I do prefer Jurassic Park and Return of the King more. So I'm gonna keep it at the back, but it's still remarkable. Just amazing experience. I named my channel after this movie, guys. This is an amazing movie, and Ledger's performance was just something else. And now I guess it's time to take a little bit of heat. Avatar. I do not like Avatar. I remember I watched it not long ago. This movie sucks. And it's not like I don't even know why I'm the enemy here. I have no idea what you guys see. This movie really is not good. Sure are some of the effects really good, but I do not think all the effects look the best. And even then, but I usually become the blunt end of a lot of jokes around here, so I'll be fine. Okay. Godzilla, happy birthday. Thank you, Godzilla. Good to see you. Child of Mushu King, you're frozen. It looks like you're frozen. Not anymore. All better. That could be because I'm now taking a look at the chat. I might freeze again soon. If so, forgive me. Now we got Alice in Wonderland, the remake. This movie is by a landslide of all the movies on here. Actually, I wouldn't even say by a landslide because we've gotten some awful ones in here. This movie is genuinely my least favorite movie of this entire list. It's one of the worst I've ever seen. I do not really like Tim Burton's style. He's not really good. I did watch one of his not long ago called Sleepy Hollow. Amazing movie. Great gothic horror atmosphere. So good. But this movie is awful. Just I'm not a fan of this storyline. I don't like the book. It is a true chore to get through. And it's easily the one that I really probably of all the ones on here, I would probably want to watch this one the least. Maybe actually it could go in contention with some of the avatars because at least this one's shorter. But this one is excruciatingly worse. And Alice in this, like the actress, like she is so phoning it in. Like she is terrible. And the sad thing is the sequel is so much worse than this. The sequel's awful as well. Alice Through the Looking Glass. This was a disaster. Okay, let's okay. Okay. Toy Story 3. I actually have a hot take. I've never been the biggest fan of this movie. I do think it's okay. I've grown around to more on rewatch, on further rewatches, but I would put a C tier. I don't think it's S tier. I've never thought it was like this emotionally climactic movie. It's good. It's good. I think the first two have more heart, spectacle. The animation in the last two are by far the best. The 3 and 4 are beautifully animated. And like there's some really powerful sequences in here, like when you think they're about to burn up. It's an amazing scene. And maybe it could improve more on rewatches, but I just think it's good. I think it's decent enough. I wouldn't put it at like the top of the list. I never will. I doubt it unless something really sharp and drastic happens, which I cannot see happening, but crazier things have happened. Let's be honest. Okay. Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. F tier all the way. I cannot stand this movie. I would put it over Alice in Wonderland. So just know, I do think it's a lot better than Alice in Wonderland. But oh man, this movie is way too long. It is unbelievably bloated. This is easily, well, no, I wouldn't say easily. This is one of the worst versions. No, this is hands down the second worst version of Jack. He might be even, I think he's more insufferable in Dead Men Tell No Tales, to be honest. But believe me, Dead Men Tell No Tales is significantly better than this. This movie is a true drag. I think it's Ian McDermott or something. The one that he's from the John Wick movies. He's the villain Blackbeard in here. He tries his best to elevate, and he's one of the better parts of it. I swear to you that. Man, I do not like this movie at all. Transformers: Dark of the Moon. I've never gotten the hate for this one, so I honestly cannot really. I would probably put it. Let's put it. I'll put it here for now. It's like Dead Man's Chest. It could easily slip into A tier. I really have a good time with this one. The CGI immaculate in the Transformers movies, at least the Michael Bay ones, at least. The destruction that you see in this movie of like Chicago being just undermined and just full on wrecked is outstanding to look at visually. Just how Michael Bay shot this is just something I will always be in awe of. It has such an amazing third act. Just mayhem at its best. I sound so awful saying that. I sounded worse. Let's be honest. Okay, Drew, happy birthday, Ledger. Thank you, Drew. Good to see you. Godzilla, Ian McShane. I was right. Thank you, Godzilla. Always good to have someone reliable on here for information. At least now I know who to go to and just be like, Godzilla, please look this up for me. Okay. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Masterful conclusion. I think this is my third favorite in the series, behind Order of the Phoenix and Prisoner of Azkaban. Everything just seems to come together in this movie. The payoff of a 7-movie long era. Well, technically 8, but 7 really because because Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. That's not the point though. This movie is just amazing. It's amazing emotional stakes that it has. Just the way it's wrapping up all these storylines, the death you feel each death in this movie. Like I will probably take a little shot at a movie that will actually be higher, but like Thanos in the Infinity Saga, you don't feel his evil. You don't, in transcending every moment of this franchise. Every moment in this franchise, you can feel, especially near the latter half, you feel Voldemort's evil. You feel everything. And it's just such a well-made movie. Just there's not really much more to say. I'm not really good. Yeah, I digress. The Avengers. Okay, again, I keep saying it. This is an event. This was just superhero movie team ups were fairly uncommon, and the Avengers made it to where they're all the rage now. So you get a lot of really cool things in here. It's a crowd pleaser. We all love crowd pleasers, action, adventure. We actually got the first teaser to Fantastic Four that dropped today. So I also saw that. And it looked like the MCU sort of getting out of their funk they've been in for a bit. I'm not sure about Captain America: Brave New World. I might see that at my employee screening at my theater. So let's put it. I would put it in back of A tier for now. Okay. The Dark Knight Rises. I have a lot of feelings on this one. Now, I do think this movie is amazing at certain scenes, but it's really frustrating because there are so many stupid things in here. It is so frustrating because I live with two brothers that aren't the smartest and always like to tell me when I'm like, there's no way Bruce Wayne could have gotten halfway around the world in less than a half a day. And they're like, there's a jet that can go that fast. And it's like, yeah, but he's in the middle of nowhere. No one knows where he is. There's not a town nearby. He's stranded with nothing. No jet would see him and be like, okay, you definitely need a ride, especially to a place that you weren't even able to get in. It's stupid. So their logic isn't always very good, my brothers. But anyway, The movie itself, it's fine. I think it has some major pacing issues. It's, again, like several movies on here, it's way too long. Bane is an amazing villain in certain scenes, but in other scenes, well, not in other scenes. They will either wrap up his character by basically making him a lapdog for Talia al Ghul. Unforgivable. Absolutely unforgivable. Like, it is shamingly offensive. Like, I genuinely do not know what hurts me more. The fact that we got one of the worst versions of a comic book superhero of all time with Batman and Robin's Bane, and it just was awful and nothing like the character, or that we get one of the best versions of a comic book villain of all time with Bane from this, and they make him such an offensive backstory. That is just as offensive to me as what Batman and Robin did. And it hurts me. But I will go C tier. It has some really good moments. It does. But believe me, there are plot holes in this thing like crazy. Like, you can pick apart multiple beats in this story. And it does not even really take a lot of thinking. It is so shockingly easy to do. And it's laughably stupid in certain scenes, and it's sad that it's like that. Well, so now Skyfall. If Return of the King was my favorite of this list, this is a very close second. Skyfall's a masterpiece for me. I love the Bond movies. I've started a rewatch of them. I'm on Thunderball at the moment, and so I always am happy to get to Skyfall. It's just a great. Well, the first two are more gritty: Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace, which I do not hate. I do not hate Quantum of Solace, but I do think that it is funny because Daniel Craig's, like, you can definitely see a bit of a roller coaster ride. You have the height of Casino Royale. Again, I do not hate Quantum of Solace. It is a drop. Then you have Skyfall, which is amazing. You have Spectre that does, again, I do not hate Spectre, but it does do a big drop again. And then you have No Time to Die, which is amazing as well. So it's an amazing action movie. It's like the action is spectacular. Like the train fight scene in the beginning of the movie is one of the best openings to a Bond movie. You could make a solid argument it's the best, to be honest. It has the best cinematography. It's the most beautiful Bond movie to date that we have gotten. It is truly a great movie. And I could actually see it passing Return of the King. Return of the King's theater experience I had with my friend was just something else. But okay. The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey. I have not seen the entire movie through and through in a long time. Well, not in a long time. I've seen half of the movie like around several months ago, but I don't have the most recent thoughts. But I've known the Hobbit trilogy a long time. I remember everything about them. They're movies I know a lot about of. So, probably, I would probably go back a C tier. I think that it was a stupid idea to. The Lord of the Rings are amazing movies, and saying that you should never make The Hobbit, that's a false statement. Saying, well, this shows that you cannot just make The Hobbit. It's like, no, they made a version of The Hobbit that's animated in the 70s. I think it was the 70s. That's a good version. Granted, it's only like an hour and a half, and it covers the entire book. This takes 3 movies, all of which the extended cuts are like 3 hours long. So that's like 9 hours long of storytelling in a movie that's not even an hour and a half does it smoothly. So you can feel the fact that we are in the Shire way too long. So like they're really slowing it down. The CGI and green screen here looks pretty rough. Like the Lord of the Rings had some of the greatest practical effects in cinema history, which is why it's so offensive when you go from all the practical effects now overblowing it with CGI. So that's really all I have to say on it. Wait, I actually think I just noticed an order change here, so I'm going to probably fix this because Frozen came after. Yeah, Age of Extinction was in 2020. It was in 2014. This was 2015, I think. Yeah. Yeah, it was. Okay, so now we have Iron Man 3. Again, I'll put this probably right here in C tier. It's good. It's good enough. I've never been the biggest fan of Iron Man with 2 and 3. The original is one of the best in the MCU. There's no other way to put it. Just a great origin story. 2 has its moments. Two's okay. I think looking back on how the MCU's been doing recently, 2 holds up remarkably better than most of them, and it has at least has that MCU charm. I've never really had the most. I have not had the fondest liking to them though. I think they're what you call just good. They're like some of the mediocre ones in the MCU, so they're fine. They're fine. Again, I'm just gonna say I could switch most of these anytime. Well, and I may do that throughout the stream. Let's see if we have any questions. Godzilla. I don't know everything though. You at least can look online. That would definitely help me. Frankie Megaworld. Hi. Dimension Scott. Just wanted to say happy birthday and enjoy. Thank you. Frankie, happy 17th birthday. You okay? A, I am okay, and B, I am actually 16, not 17 yet. I wish though. Okay. Transformers: Age of Extinction. I'm trying to reserve put most of the movies I just don't like in D tier. I can't even do that. This movie, I think I would rather watch Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides than this. This movie is awful. This movie is unbelievably terrible. I do not like most of the Transformers movies. The only ones I would genuinely say I like I really enjoy that are the original and Dark of the Moon. That's it. I'm okay on Bumblebee and I'm okay on Rise of the Beasts. Well, actually, no, I'm not even the biggest fan of Rise of the Beasts. I'd be like that one borders a 2.5. It's like a 3 probably. So like this movie, Revenge of the Fallen and Last Night are rough. Like I am genuinely happy that neither one of those made this list because it is such a hard time talking about these movies. I thought the trailers for each of these movies looked awesome. Last Night and Age of Extinction in particular, I was like, these movies look awesome. And I watched them just like with such high hopes, and I was like, these movies suck. I like there's a reason I don't really watch them very often. I do every once in a while because like if I'm doing like a director ranking for like Michael Bay, or if I have to watch the Transformers series for like some sort of ranking I'm doing with my buddies, I have to. But other than that, I will not regularly go back unless I'm like in a really stupid mood and I need to try and give them another chance. I've done it many times because believe me, I'm a forgiving person. I have seen Napoleon Dynamite several times more than I've wanted to. I hate that. I hate Napoleon Dynamite more than I hate Age of Extinction, to be honest. And I have seen that movie several times. And for those of you that like Napoleon Dynamite, please do not roast me. I get enough flack from my friends already on it. So that is not a topic I want to endorse at all. Frozen. This is the problem. I'm trying to think. Do I like it more than Avatar? Because Avatar is just painful. Screw it. You know what? Frozen at least has some flair. Frozen, I will give the edge over Avatar. Now, I do not like Frozen. Do not get that idea in your heads. I do not like Frozen. And I do not want anyone to say this. I genuinely just don't like this movie. I need to stop saying genuinely. But Avatar is just an excruciating 3 hours. So Olaf is probably the best part of the movie for me. He's decent. I think the animation looks visually stunning, but that's pretty much it. I think the message, like with the whole marriage thing, is a stupid idea in the first place. They try and overcorrect it, saying, "Oh no, actually, he's a terrible person. You shouldn't get married to him or something." So, and that message is you shouldn't have endorsed it in the first place. That's what I say. That was a stupid move, and that is absolutely on you guys. So, in more recent memory, a lot more movies have started making like has started making billion-dollar movies. Like 2015, you had Frozen, like you had all these ones. Then 2016, you had these ones. Like you've been getting 2019 had like almost 10, which so we're gonna have a lot movies from that Okay, so now Furious 7. I'm trying to remember some aspects. I'm gonna go off what I remember. I would probably put it. Actually, I would probably put it at the back of B tier. Now, this is one of the better installments in the series. If I'm not wrong, it is my favorite in the series. Yes, this is my favorite of the series. I think their tribute to Paul Walker at the end, that is an amazing scene. Just such a amazing send off to Paul Walker with his death, which is a very sad thing that happened with him, especially when you hear what his last words were of like, "I'll be right back." Just so they're thinking like when it cuts to like white and it's just like for Paul, amazing, one of the greatest endings in cinema history. The rest of the movie is just decent. It's like I would say the rest of the movie's good. Kurt Russell's fun in it as always. In these movies, Vin Diesel is Vin Diesel, just like all the family stuff, which gets a lot more annoying as the franchise continues. So I don't think it's amazing. I don't think it's terrible like some of the movies in the series. It's not when people say this movie just sucks and that the only redeeming thing is Paul Walker sent off. No, it's got some good moments. I think Jason Statham also is really fun in it as well because Jason Statham's fun in just about everything. So yeah. Now we have Avengers: Age of Ultron. I never really have gotten the hate for it. Is it the weak link in the Avengers movies? Yeah. But does that mean it's bad? No. I would put it probably around the middle of B tier. Yeah, between Dead Man's Chest and Phantom Menace. It's what I think it's more quippy, and yeah, I think they go for jokes a little too much in this movie. It was written by Joss Whedon, and he did an amazing job with like the banter in the Avengers. And he also works here. He got the wrong idea, and that's why Justice League was so bad. Just the constant jokes. He got the wrong idea from his success with the Avengers. So it's a really fun time. The CGI looks really well done in here. So it also set up a lot of things that really furthered the MCU, the Infinity Saga. So Minions. I actually have been called a hater of not only Despicable Me, uh, of the Despicable Me movies for a while. Just like, oh man, these movies just like when I'm like these movies suck, and then people are like, no, you're just a hater. They're really funny. Like I have some friends that think these movies are funny. I'm like, in what world? I had a talk on a stream with my friend Kate. Like, they are not good. And not only is it like that they're not good, they keep making the same mistakes and people keep endorsing them. The dialogue is abysmal in these movies. The animation kind of gets worse with each one. Like I thought in a way they get better, but I think the old look with the Minions, like in Despicable Me 1 and 2, where their animation wasn't fully complete, that made them look even stupider, and it made them look funny because of how stupid it was. Now they just look so clean, it takes away their charm. They genuinely are stupid. They make decisions that even the most stupid people get annoyed with. They keep making the same mistakes, but people are like, no, these movies are the best. No, they're not. Sorry. Rant may be over because we still have one more movie in this franchise to talk to. I am so happy that the fourth movie did not make it on here. I remember seeing that with several of my friends because they wanted to watch it, and everyone enjoyed it besides me. I was like, this movie is truly terrible. What are you guys watching? Especially since I worked at the theater, so I was handing out a lot of stuff for that. That was excruciating having to listen to it. It is an awful movie. So Minions, honestly, This movie is close to Alice in Wonderland. It is close. The just characters in here are terrible. Inherently, it's a terrible idea to make a spin-off of the Minions. The Minions are like a spice. They work good on something else. They improve a scenes. Well, they did in the first two. I cannot truthfully tell you they make any scenes good in 3 and 4 because they really, really wear out their welcome in those two fast. They get really irritating after a while. So their shtick gets really old. So when you give them, I like cinnamon on my toast. I don't like a spoonful of cinnamon. I'm not gonna do that. It's just a stupid idea. So especially when you think the Minions don't even speak a discernible language, so you're stuck watching these people. It's essentially like if you're watching some sort of comedy. You're watching a comedy that's in a foreign language but doesn't have subtitles. It's that experience. And people are like, this movie's so funny. You can't understand the dialogue. What are you talking about? Like, so when you tell me that the Despicable Me movies are all just genuinely amazing movies, I'm like, your taste really is not very sophisticated if you're going to tell me that they are such bad movies, and I really wish that people would stop supporting them because they do not deserve it. This franchise has got to die sometime soon. Jurassic World. I watched the entire Jurassic series, so my thoughts on all 3 Jurassic Worlds are very familiar, so I do feel confident where I'm putting them. I would put this one in A tier. I have a lot of fun with Jurassic World. Is it stupid? Absolutely. Does it have its moments where it's just plain bad? Well, not bad, where it's plain just iffy on certain moments? For sure. But it's a fun, enjoyable, and really good time. The CGI doesn't look too bad on the dinosaurs. Should they have been practical? Absolutely. The Indominus Rex, I'm more mixed on. I'm not as high on the whole genetic hybrid thing. There's one thing I will give Dominion credit for. I do like that I don't think they did anything with genetic hybrids really with like making a new dinosaur. They kind of did, but they also kind of didn't. So I really am happy Dominion got rid of that. Well, at least it was not as on the nose with like the Indoraptor and Fallen Kingdom. So of the things Dominion did well, that was probably one of them. Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Guys, please explain to me why you guys hate this movie. We're going to talk about the sequel. We're going to talk about its sequels. We are going to talk about Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. Don't you worry. But I have never understood the hate for this one. Am I more mixed on the death? Hold on. Am I more mixed on the death of Han Solo? Yes. I do think that there were better ways and more sophisticated ways to stab him. That sounds so awful, but also so true. But it's just this. It felt like this amazing nostalgic movie. But a lot of people like to use the phrase "it's too similar to A New Hope." When the prequels came out, I think the biggest complaint that was among audiences was this does not feel like Star Wars. Now, as soon as this movie comes out, it's like, no, this movie feels too much like Star Wars. Make up your mind. The movie's really good. Man, just the spectacle here is outstanding. And I love getting to be back in this world. This was the only one of the sequels that really felt like there was effort put into like almost every scene. This was the only one where, like, especially in the story department, it just felt like really good. Is it similar to A New Hope in a lot of ways? Yes, but it does have some ways that it makes to make itself distinct. Zootopia. I have not seen this movie in a while, but I do remember enjoying it, so I'll probably put it at the top of C tier. It could probably go up to B tier, but on rewatch. But I do think it struggles in a lot. I think it does have some serious pacing issues, especially near the. It doesn't really have the best ground in the third act. Like as soon as things, I would say, like I think it's individual bits in like the first half are really good. Like they are really good moments in the first half. But I do think the second half is pretty much a pretty big fall off, but it's still a fun time nonetheless. I don't hate the second half by any means, but just not my cup of tea. Is it exactly? Let's go back to the chat. Okay. Frankie, I meant to put 16, no joke. No joke, I saw Captain America 4, and oh my god, it's amazing. This movie did not disappoint whatsoever. Cool. Godzilla, have you seen Transformers 1 2024? I have not. I need to. That reminds me of Sean Chandler. Who do you think I got it from? Frankie, don't hate me. I think Dominion is the best one since the original. I except for Jurassic World, I can't really make an argument because I'm not attached to really any of them. But we will get to my thoughts on that one. Godzilla. Genetically modified locusts in Dominion. Okay. Of all the things Dominion did well, it did a better job of not making up more. It did a better job of. It did a better. Screw that. I'm not even going to try anymore. I'm not even going to defend Dominion. We'll get to my thoughts. But yeah, I completely forgot about the locust. Thank you, Godzilla, as usual. You are being you're doing very good at being my, how do I say this? My source. Okay. There we go. Captain America Civil War. This movie is amazing. I absolutely love Civil War. I would probably put it toss up really, but it's actually a toss up between The Dark Knight and Civil War, to be honest. I would probably put Civil War up by a hair because I think it's more rewatchable. Amazing. It's an amazing just look at different opinions and how certain things are going to get people riled up. Just the way the one half, like Captain America immediately thinks that Iron Man is wrong about this. Iron Man immediately perceives Cap as wrong. And I think it's weird the fact that in the original Iron Man is against the government, is like, no, you are not taking control of the weapons. I have seen what happens. I am taking control of it. And Cap is like on the side of the government always. And in this, they role reverse it to where Cap is against the government with the Sokovia Accords. Iron Man is for it. And I do think they found a good way to justify it with like the casualty side of it. But I'd never have understood people saying Iron Man was right. I think everyone that says that really is just liking Iron Man more. Cap was doing it because he knew that in a moment of weakness, if you had a corrupt government member that was like, no, we do not want to do this, someone that is working with the enemy, then they can intentionally refuse the offer for the Avengers to help to make sure casualties are made. That is it's a glaring problem. Not to mention, like Sokovia would have been such a massive event. If the Accords had been a thing in Age of Ultron, then 100% Sokovia they wouldn't have signed on. They would not have authorized the Avengers to go into a city without all this, like with all the evacuations. They would not have done it. And Sokovia's events almost led to global extinction. And because of that, so with these Accords, the Accords would have caused a global extinction. It's a stupid idea. Iron Man tried to think logically, but he also wasn't thinking ahead of everything. Cap knew that you could not put the power and the fate of other people in such a scenario. Not to mention the blip incident in Infinity War and Endgame, they would not have signed on. They would not have authorized the use of time traveling, thinking, "Oh, now it's gonna do like the Back to the Future effect, and it's gonna get real confusing. Fates are gonna be changed. People are gonna die." So they wouldn't have agreed to that either. So who can blame them though? So Cap is definitely right in it, and there's a reason why it's called Captain America Civil War instead of Iron Man Civil War. Does it feel like Avengers 2.5 at times? Yes, but it is so good. Finding Dory. I would probably have to put this at the back of C tier. I think it's okay. It's Finding Dory's okay. It's not as good as Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo's an amazing, heartwarming time. Just Finding Dory's a rehash at best. Like they rehash most of the plot lines in here, but this time you have Dory, and Dory is like the Minions. She's a good side character. She's good when you do that, but when you make her own thing, sometimes the acting is good, but other times she really grates on your nerves. She grates on your nerves as a side character at times. She pushes it in Finding Nemo sometimes. So when you make her the star of her own movie, it gets out of hand really fast. So I know a lot of people think this is one of the more underrated movies by Pixar. I have never found that. I've never found that logical. Okay, let's see. Frankie, in my opinion, there's more good than bad in Dominion. The locust die sucks. The Godzilla and locusts remain focused instead of the dinosaurs. That was a stupid idea, making a locust espionage. Making it a Jurassic Park movie about locust espionage instead of dinosaurs. Who had that idea? That was. I don't even want to know, to be honest. Rogue One. I've started on rewatching this one because I haven't seen it in a bit because I've been retroactively going through more of Star Wars lately. Rogue One. Oops. There we go. Rogue One is a really good movie. I'm gonna probably put it right here. It's one of the more mature movies in Star Wars. It's dealing with this. It's where it's there. They call it Star Wars, but you never really feel the war element. Well, you could argue Clone Wars does that, but you don't feel like it's this actual war with death, casualties, sacrifices. That is what Rogue One does. It is a movie all about that, and it's where no one makes it out alive, to the point like every single person that goes on the mission, they die, and it really makes this a truly unique movie, and it also does this amazing job of setting up A New Hope, to where every time I've watched this movie, I'm like, I want to watch A New Hope now, and because they just lead into each other so well. Of course, there's other things like the Vader hallway scene. There's not really much more to say. It's been said. It is that scene rocks. Just Vader is a menace in that scene. He is terrifying. So amazing. Sorry. So yeah, Rogue One, it's a great movie. So I don't think it's perfect. It's also, you can make an argument that this is the most beautiful Star Wars movie. It is truly gorgeous to watch. I do not think it's the best of Disney Star Wars. I will never say that. Just like I've always found Force Awakens better, and not to mention just more enjoyable. So Beauty and the Beast, the live action remake. Honestly, I am not a fan of this movie. I'm gonna be honest. It would probably be. I'm gonna put it above Avatar because I'd rather watch this than a 3-hour long excruciating experience. So it's just there shouldn't be very many of these live action remakes. A good chunk of them you could get rid of, and I would not argue at all. So this movie really has no reason to exist. It really just, it's not a good movie. Emma Watson's okay in it. She's not amazing. She's not terrible. I haven't seen it in a while. I need to give it a rewatch, probably. Maybe see if it's better on rewatch. It's been said before. It's just not good. I really hate when I'm a hater on movies, but it's just not. The Fate of the Furious. I would probably put the C tier. Where in C tier though? I would probably say here, like right smack in the middle, like around there. So it's just a stupid movie. Charlize Theron's one of the better villains in this series. Like, you can believe her as both a bad guy and someone that you should be afraid of. Like, she played Furiosa. She can play both someone that can be intimidating. Well, I wouldn't say Furiosa is intimidating. Well, she can be if she wants to be, but she's more of the badass. I would say she's more subtly action based. So she has that edge to her that I think a lot of the not a lot, most of the only one that actually probably could be in competition with her villain is the best is Jason Statham's, because as good as Jason Momoa was, that was because he was just so hilariously stupid in a lot of ways. So yeah. So I would say Fate of the Furious could go there. And now we're back. Guys, I promise you we'll get to something that I love soon. Okay. Despicable Me 3. I honestly would love to put this in F tier, and I'm bordering on it. There's very few movies like that I can watch a scene from and almost be sick because of how bad I hate this. I remember I was just scrolling on Instagram one day and I just like saw this reel that was like memeing the movie, and I kid you not, I almost threw up because I just hate this movie. This movie is terrible. I used to think this was the best one growing up. And well, no, I thought it was the best sequel. Actually, no, I might have thought it was the best. And it over time is just digressed. Is truly a terrible movie. And I will put it in back of D tier, but it borders on F. Because F is like for the worst. This is in D tier though. This movie is awful. And it is one of the ones I would probably want to watch the least. Star Wars: The Last Jedi. No matter what happens, no matter whose comment section is someone that I'm friends with, is mine, no matter what, there's someone on here that tries to defend this movie to death. I do not understand it. The sad thing is, I would probably put it above all the rest over here. This would probably, because it is still at the end of the day a Star Wars movie, and I can take it. I can stomach it more than I can stomach these couple. But this movie, I cannot understand when people are like, "This movie's just this masterpiece. It's this look at Luke, and it's this no." This we're gonna get another rant. Here's the thing. This movie tries to do certain things. You have the casino entire thing, which I really hate this casino stuff. I'm a Star Wars fanatic. I'm gonna so that you guys can actually see me. Like, okay. Like, I have this, which I got recently. It's like this replica of the lightsaber from Return of the Jedi. The one I'm most proud of, the one from episodes 3, 4, for most of them, to be honest. So it's a great so I love Star Wars. Are you excited for Andor season 2? That's Godzilla. Absolutely loved Andor. Frankie, you haven't put Finding Dory and Sea. No, I have. It should be, yeah. And Child, the One True King, and Phineas and Ferb is, guessing she's saying violent. Okay. Frankie, Jurassic Park Rebirth looked promising. I think that franchise should just die. So back to what I was saying. I have learned to hate the Canto. Is it Canto Bite? Canto Bite stuff, like the casino. That stuff just looks like a version of Earth, which is probably Earth. Apparently, like Star Wars lore is a thing. People just got so advanced that we moved past it, and it's not, no. So that stuff is awful, which most people can unanimously agree. The casino stuff all is just pretty awful. The dissection of Luke is unforgivable. What you could believe, like in Obi-Wan Kenobi, the show, which I did not like the show. I rewatched it very recently and I was like, this movie, this show was not good. But what the show did well was like it made him like this reclusive hermit that like didn't want to do anything. That which is the same thing that they did with Luke in the Last Jedi. The thing is, that was a natural response. You had so let's take a look. Obi-Wan, in the course of not very long, he loses everything. The Jedi Order he is so fond of. His clones turn against him. He loses his brother. He has to duel him personally. He defeats him and isn't even able to have the heart to kill him. He has to go into hiding. Everything is gone. He is alone. Everything has changed for him. And it's just that is like the show does an amazing job of showing his reaction to just something that mind-numbing. And it does, and so like that they earn that. 1 second. And then we have the Last Jedi, which in the course of about one movie, they go from Return of the Jedi, Luke, that is just hopeful and believes so much that Darth Vader, the most irredeemable person on the planet, not on the planet, in the galaxy, one of the most, can be saved. Someone that slaughtered children, slaughtered a lot more people than just children, has done evil for years, can be saved. But when his, I think it's his son-in-law, not son-in-law, what is it? No, it's not son-in-law. Wait. Actually, no, I think it is son-in-law. Something. When his relative, when Kylo Ren has a little nightmare, he is ready to full on assassinate him. What? That makes it stupid enough. But then you're going to make him to where he's reclusive because one of his students betrayed him? No, you're not going to convince me. If you are going to tell me that's a good excuse to go into hiding, you are lying or you're stupid. No offense. But still, awful logic. And probably the dumbest thing in here is like, I always, from the moment I watched this movie, which I didn't always hate. I used to really like this movie. And I absolutely hate the fact that, like the scene where Finn is going to sacrifice himself, which is an amazingly powerful scene in a way. And then how do they do it? They make Rose, who, oh, Lord, she is one of the worst characters in Star Wars. I cannot stand her. She should never have been in this trilogy, which I find it funny in Rise of Skywalker, how like the first thing that she says, her first line is literally to say, I'm going to stay behind. And so like they like knew, oh man, people really did not like this character. So we're going to keep her in the sidelines. That was awesome. So just when Finn is about to make a sacrifice, she full on crashes into him. And it's something that could very well have killed them both. And her reasoning is that we're not going to beat the First Order by defeating the ones we hate, but by saving the ones that we love. First of all, by your logic, that doesn't make any sense because you nearly killed him. You nearly killed him, which by all means should have killed him because of that explosion. But also, you also just made it to where not only can they now like literally aim it at you and first kill you guys, they're not only going to kill them, but now the resistance is doomed because their one mechanism to destroy the thing that's going to kill them is gone. Finn was about to prevent it, but nope, we're going to trade that away. And so also I find it hilarious, like just as soon as she kisses him and like passes out, like she's like, he feels nothing. He feels nothing. He was like in that Rey, like thinking about, I wonder what Rey's lips taste like. Oh, this movie was laughably awful in moments. Like as soon as you also get to create like that entire thing, the Snow Planet, that was all awful. Black Panther. I'm going to do a little bit of speed run. Black Panther would go around here in C tier. I think when people are like, this movie should have won Best Picture, absolutely not. Does it do some really good like racial criticisms and everything? Yes. But does this movie like so impactful in every way it's meaningful? No. It's just a blockbuster. And one with some horrendous CGI in the third act, I will say. For all the people that are going to be like, no, it does this amazing job of just like captivating its audience with all the racial stuff. Yes, it does. Like showing that this that this Black Panther, yes. Black Panther is one of the best characters in the MCU, yes. Unbelievably awful third act. Now, you will not convince me otherwise. And the movie just drags in a lot of scenes. Avengers Infinity War. This movie was something else. I think I would probably put it here in A tier, though. I think I like the Avengers more, so I cannot put it in S tier. But this movie is amazing in a lot of ways. It does so much. Thanos is truly a captivating villain. I don't like his motivations as much, where like overpopulation made everyone go to war. It's like, if you're gonna steal all these stones to get a glove, instead of wiping out half the population, why don't you just use the glove to make more planets? It clearly has some sort of power like that. Why are you not taking advantage of it? I didn't think they really took the logic very seriously, so well. Also, fun fact, I believe 2020 is the only movie since is one of the only years since is one of the only years on here that is not a billion, that doesn't have a $1 billion club. Like every single one I mentioned, like there's been a year 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, and then like 2020 because of the whole COVID thing. No movie was able to cross that mark. Some made a good amount, but I think Bad Boys for Life was actually the highest grossing movie that year. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I would put this top of D tier. Yeah, I do not like this movie. I think that the more I've watched it, the worse it ages. The Indoraptor, I'm not a fan of. I really do not really care for genetic modification in the Jurassic World movies. They all get it wrong, and they all really and they never learn from it. The island stuff is really terrible. What made the original Jurassic Park such an amazing movie was the fact that you're bringing back dinosaurs, and such a magical concept. And in this one, they're trying to kill them off on an island, and that was a awful idea, because I think that's why I believe, if this is going to be a soft core reboot, I think that's why they're probably going to go to Isla Sorna in this one, because they're going to have to, because they already just butchered their other island. They could easily go to this. They could easily just stay where they are, because dinosaurs are around the earth, but in theory, they should only be able to stay within like a certain continent, because certain continents are stuck in only water. So unless they're like transported around the world, which no, Dominion actually confirmed that they're all around the world now because of like trafficking and all that. So they could go to that, but I'm thinking they might go to Isla Sorna. That's where the Lost World and 3 take place. So I really just don't I really don't care for this movie. Incredibles 2. I have not seen it in a bit, but I also would probably put it in right behind here in Zootopia and C tier. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna put it, yeah. So Incredibles 2, it's got some good moments. It's funny, it's amusing. I don't think it's as good as the first. The villain in here is very forgettable. It's on the tip of my tongue. Maybe it'll come later. It's a very forgettable villain. It's just not as good as the first. No other real way to put it. So, Aquaman, I would actually put this in D tier. Probably right here. I do think it's got some better moments than either of these two movies, but I would rather we rewatch both. And also, just this movie, it doesn't hold up. Jason Momoa, he's having a blast, but the CGI in most of this movie is awful. The dialogue in some of the scenes is horrendous. Seeing something like an octopus playing a drum, I never knew that I didn't want it, and never would have guessed it. But now looking back, I'm like, I should have known this was a terrible idea. So yeah. And why do we keep getting so many D tiers and we're not even through? Captain Marvel. I would put this here. It's borderline back of D tier. I'm not gonna. I really want to put it in the back of D tier, but I really want to, but I just don't think I can because at least Captain Marvel tries in certain elements. And Despicable Me 3, like you can feel like it's almost actively attempting to just be bad. And Captain Marvel, it's just forgettable. There's no other way to put it. I think I thought the stupid part was like the way that they had to de-age Samuel L. Jackson, so he has like the Robert De Niro effect or the Harrison Ford effect in like Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, to where you can it's mostly a good convincing thing, but the bad part is like, well, it's more so noticeable with Harrison Ford, where like he has a more throaty and more croaky voice as he gets older, to where like you can tell that they're de-aging him, but also like the way that they move is unbelievably obvious. So like the way Samuel L. Jackson moves, you can tell they're de-aging him. Avengers Endgame. This movie was the pinnacle of events. This movie was something else, just entirely. This third act, unbelievable. I will put it at the back of S tier, but oh my lord, just seeing this conclusion to the Infinity Saga, a conclusion to so many years worth of content, from Iron Man to Endgame, just this amazing run where you have this incredibly satisfying thing where it was the pinnacle of events. Just this conclusion, it wrapped it up so nicely. I Love You 3000, all of it. Just such an amazing movie. Aladdin, the remake. I would put it probably above Aquaman in D tier, but again, I do not like this movie. Why do I have so many in C and D tier? I thought I liked movies. Huh. Yeah, and I'm not done adding to either of those categories yet. Dang, we have a lot of bad ones here. Please give me some good ones. Never mind, but it's going to take a while. Toy Story 4. Well, there's not much more to say about this one. I think Aladdin's forgettable. Toy Story 4. I would put this right next to Toy Story 3. I would probably put 3 above it, though. 3 just has more inventive ideas. 3 had an amazing ending that 4 retroactively ruins. So I have more of a staying power with 3, probably. 4 I liked a lot more growing up than I did 3, but I've grown a lot more fond of 3 than I have because I used to hate it. So it's got some moments that I don't think are good. Forky really gets on my nerves at times, but I've seen worse. Let's address the chat. Okay. That's where was I? Frankie, keep posting. You get a play button. I'm getting close compared to what I had when I first saw your account. I'm getting good. I'll say that. I've definitely been getting a lot of followers. Frankie, oh no, the Lion King remake. Oh boy, yeah. Oh boy. That disaster. Frankie, I can't see your screen. It's frozen. It should be back to normal for a good bit now, so. Okay. Now, let's get back to work. A YouTuber's work is never done. Spider-Man No Way Home. I won't put it D tier, but I will put it probably near the back of C tier. I will put it, let's put it here. This movie has some good elements. I think Holland's charming enough. I don't think he's amazing in this one. Mysterio with Jake Gyllenhaal, he's the shining point of this movie. Easily. He is the best part. So Mysterio saves this movie, but the story is terrible, where you don't believe for a second of all the things that Tony Stark would leave his multi-billion-dollar equipment, something that has the power to control satellites and all that. He will give it to this high schooler who has been dead for 5 years. And not only that, but didn't give him with any instructions. It's a terrible idea. Whoever thought of that should be fired. That is an awful idea. I cannot take anyone seriously that says that this movie is amazing, because like there's just so many stupid elements to this story. And I think it does an amazing job setting up No Way Home. This was one of the most mind-blowing post-credit scenes in movie history and was like, you're ending us there? Amazing, amazing post-credit scene that set up No Way Home, which we will talk about soon. So it had some good elements, but overall it's one of the rougher movies to watch in the Spider-Man series. It's one of my I think that and 3 are competing for my second least favorite. I think my least favorite's Across the Spider-Verse. The Lion King remake. This movie, honestly, I want to put it in F tier based on principle, but I can't. I will put it, though, at the border. I'm putting it right. Honestly, where would I put it? I would rather watch it than Despicable Me 3. I will say it. Probably here, because at least there's more emotion in. No, there's not. There's more emotion. There's none. There's no emotion in any of these. These all are so emotional. None of the movies here have emotion. Okay, so yeah. Well, none of them have good emotion, and some of them don't even have emotion. Period. So this movie's hollow. It's just a carbon copy of the original, but it doesn't have the heart. It doesn't have the legacy. It doesn't have anything from the original. It makes the lines look significantly more off-putting with because you cannot make photorealistic lines emote, so they come off hollow and just emotionless. It makes them look off. So I've said it a lot of the time. I really hate this remake. So yeah. Joker. Now Joker, honestly, I would have probably put this in S tier before there was Joker 2. Joker 2, however, I hated. I did not like Joker 2 at all. This movie, that was a rough experience. Just I had high hopes for Joker 2. I was like, this is what we got. This is awful. So I would probably put it right here in A tier because I don't feel right putting it anywhere higher. And I honestly feel surprised that I even put it this high because Joker 2 is not because Joker 2 has an ending that makes this movie almost an F tier because not based on rewatchability or anything, based on just principle. And I was shocked that they did that, and it felt like Todd Phillips was just seeing the success of the first movie and was like, now how do we piss a bunch of people off? And boy, did he work. I left that theater really angry. Man, this movie was not good. I'm more getting into Joker 2. This one does a great job of making this movie depressing. It is depressing in a lot of ways, just seeing this guy being mistreated by society and how it's making him go slowly into madness, and another thing Joker 2 ruins. I really just can't keep talking about this movie because Joker 2 just it took literally almost every element to this movie and ruined it, to be honest. Frozen 2. I would put this movie in the middle of F tier. I can't stand Frozen 2. Literally anything that the first movie does good besides the animation, this movie does worse. And it takes that part away. The only thing that is good in here is the animation. That does still look very good. Other than that, this movie's a terrible, terrible experience. Something I just don't want. Get out. The Rise of Skywalker. I watched this entire trilogy on a rewatch because I thought I was going to be doing a ranking of a couple different fantasy franchises, which several of the installments are actually here, to be honest. I can't stand this movie. Objectively, this is my least favorite movie in this list. But I would rather watch it more. I would rather watch it than either of these two. So just this movie, there are so many awful things. There are very few movies that I hate so much that there's an actual thing in my notes app. Like you have, if you have a phone, then there's an app called Notes that you can download. There are very few movies so bad that I have a list of questions that are rhetorical of everything bad about this movie. Like how on earth did Kylo Ren get off Kef Burr when he was clearly stranded? Why is it now that we are only learning about force healing, which would have been very useful to know 9 movies ago. All the plot holes and everything, I have them all written down. I cannot stand this movie. This was a desperate attempt to fix this. Palpatine returning, somehow Palpatine returned. That was one of the worst moments in cinema. Just that that basically felt like a real life version of what the writers probably were like. Just like somehow he returned. Yeah. Like you can just see the pain on these actors' faces that they are having to read this script because it is just terrible. Spider-Man: No Way Home. I would put this movie in. I would put it above Jurassic World in A tier. It was an event. I keep saying it. It's an event. That's one of the reasons movies make a lot of money. They're events. It was seeing Andrew Holland. It was seeing Garfield, Holland, and Maguire come back to play their respective roles as the Spider-Man. It was this heartfelt movie that teaches each other like they benefit from each other. They immediately keep Peter from making a vengeance move on Goblin. It was great to see Willem Dafoe back. It was amazing to see what's his face as Dr. Octopus. Whatever his name is. Godzilla, if you're still here, you can look that up for me. That would be great. So Top Gun Maverick. This movie was so much better than it had any right to be. I'd probably put it here. Yeah. So this movie was amazing. The original Top Gun's good. It's good. This movie has so much more. It is significantly more well made. The action involving the jets is amazing. They do a lot more with character development in this one, which is something the original did very little of. And like some of the only one is when Goose dies. Other than that, there's basically no character development, and it's just a hollow, cheesy movie. This has development of characters. It has actual emotion, emotional stakes. It is such a good movie. I love Maverick. Okay. We got a rough patch now. Jurassic World Dominion. I put this above Last Jedi, but I really do not like Dominion. I did not like it when I rewatched it. I saw it in theaters and I liked it then. I wasn't a big fan. I wasn't a big fan of it when I saw it in theaters. I was like, it was okay, but I did like it more in Fallen Kingdom though. But I was not a fan of Fallen Kingdom for a while. So I still am not. I'm just tired, guys. At this point, this movie is just bad. There's no other way to put it. The whole Locust plot line, there's a reason it's been picked on so much. This espionage with locusts instead of actual the dinosaurs, that would have been a much better idea. But nope, we got to subvert expectation, of which something that this movie was very known for. So unfortunately, they had to go in different directions, as always. Avatar: The Way of Water. Honestly, I have to put this movie. It's almost an F tier because of how hard it is to watch. This movie is rough. This is like a 1.5 out of 5. It is awful. It is such a painful experience. There's a little bit more character development, but not much. But it is significantly longer than the first. It is significantly harder to watch than the first, and these movies are just bad. I will see them in theaters, like I have. Like I will be doing so. But that's it. Super Mario Bros. I will put this probably around here in D tier. This actually no lower. No. Yeah, actually no, I'm gonna put it here. This movie has nothing. It's not inventive. It doesn't do anything inventive. The animation may be stunning. The character development is terrible in this movie. And Jack Black really annoys me with his voice acting, which is not his fault, but so yeah, I really just actually I'm gonna quick thing. I'm gonna move. Actually, no, I'm gonna keep it where it is. Zootopia. So Seth Rogen also, I just don't like him as a voice actor because again, he doesn't do voice acting, which again isn't his fault. That he's even said that he's not a voice actor. If you hire him, you're hiring Seth Rogen's voice. Okay, now we have Barbie. Yet another addition to D tier. I would probably put it around. I'll put it right here. I'll put it like right behind Last Jedi because of Ryan Gosling's performance. Kid you not, if it wasn't for Margot Robbie, okay, no, if it wasn't for Ryan Gosling, even if it was Margot Robbie, if it was not for Ryan Gosling, this movie could be an F tier. It is that bad of a script. This script is pretty terrible. It does get political at times, which I do not like when movies get political. They really over exaggerate. They try and beat you on the head with it, which this movie does so much. They try and beat you over the head with this message that we can understand, but they also try and make this thing that men are complete jerks that are almost unredeemable. They're stupid. This movie is not smart at all, and it tries to act like it's super smart. I digress. This movie is not good. I'm Just Ken, though. Amazing song. Inside Out 2. I actually went into this movie with zero expectations and was shocked at how much I loved it. I will put it probably right here. Like right borderline in the middle. Actually, I'd put it right here. I would probably give Rogue One the edge. So Inside Out 2, I think that it does it resonates with me more as I'm a teenager. So it's a great I love how these movies keep finding their audience with like these emotions. It's funny, they're heartwarming, they don't require a lot of attention and like detail like a lot of animated movies can do. This one's just a fun time, it's enjoyable. So, yeah. It's a lot better than I expected it to be because this had a lot of elements that I was like, this seems like Turning Red with all like the teenage girl growing up stuff. Like that was a lot of what Turning Red was about. And Turning Red is my least favorite thing from Pixar by a pretty large margin. I cannot stand Turning Red, and Turning Red honestly would be even more. If Turning Red did by some chance make $1 billion, it would be at the bottom of this list. I cannot stand that movie. And if you do, more power to you. If you like that movie, I genuinely don't understand anything that movie does. Well, no, I understand what it's doing because people are going to say it's because you're a boy. No, I don't understand why they did it. It is a stupid move. Deadpool and Wolverine, the event of the 2020s, probably. As much as No Way Home had to stay, Deadpool and Wolverine was something else. This movie I would probably put like right here, right above Inside Out 2. It is hilarious. I remember going to the employee screening for this, and we were all laughing ourselves stupid because this was before we had anything on like Twitter or Facebook or Instagram of like spoiling the movie of like, guess who's in the movie with all these cameos and then like spoiling everything. I went in knowing nothing except that one character was in it that was in a I had read something that might have been in the movie, so there was that. But other than that, I went in completely blind and was like, I was having so much fun. I didn't know who I was going to see. It was something else getting an experience like that. So I had such a fun time, and I loved how they did just Wolverine's character in this, where they didn't make him the blunt end of every joke. They make him the blunt end of a few jokes, but not all of them. So it's just a great time. But guys, that is basically my tier list. I'm going to give you guys an overview of it real quick. Like there we go. You have the best of the best in S. You have all the ones from A, B, C, and a lot in D. D was by far the one with the most. Why was I so negative with all these in C and D? A lot of movies just only make money because they're just decent and just like have a crowd pleaser, which that's a lot of what these are. In F tier, I try to stay mostly like I only have 6 movies in F tier. I almost put Despicable Me 3 and Avatar: The Way of Water there. So, Frankie, I'm going now. Have a good birthday. Well, that's pretty much it for me, guys. Since there's pretty much nothing else, I probably will end the stream here. If you guys have anything, please drop it below. Always love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Very happy to do a birthday stream. I am tired as heck, so I'm going to be very happy as soon as I can just relax. So I am very tired. So thank you all so much for watching. Always glad to see your support. And I really hope I can get on to some updates soon. And it would be a great time. Thank you all so much for watching. See you guys.